You will be afraid to call an ambulance because a trip to the hospital costs as much as a used car. You will live in a country where there are more guns in the hands of the population than people themselves. You will see Walking Dead on the streets of Philadelphia in broad daylight. You will be part of a nation that holds the button to the internet, the global economy, and the nuclear apocalypse. What is this place that everyone hates but everyone dreams of getting into? This is the United States of America. We are used to seeing the USA through Hollywood filters, but today we will take off the glasses. We will answer 4 questions that will destroy your stereotypes. Why in the richest country in the world do entire ghost towns exist, populated by zombie people rotting alive? How did a handful of geeks from one valley in California seize control over the minds of 8 billion people? Is it true that slavery in the USA was not abolished, but simply renamed the prison system? And why, despite all the horrors, does this country remain humanity's only ticket to Mars? Today, 8 facts. From the rotting streets of Kensington to the sterile laboratories of NASA. Buckle up. Welcome to Real America. You thought the series The Walking Dead was fiction? Come to Philadelphia, to Kensington Avenue. The USA is gripped by an opioid epidemic. A new drug, fentanyl mixed with xylazine, turns people into zombies. Xylazine is a veterinary tranquilizer for horses. In humans, it causes necrosis. Flesh begins to rot right on the bones while the person is still alive. Thousands of people stand on the streets, bent in unnatural poses, reacting to nothing. This is a national catastrophe. More than 100,000 Americans die from overdoses per year. That is more than died in the wars in Vietnam and Afghanistan combined. The world's richest economy cannot save its citizens from slowly rotting on the sidewalk. But if you think this is the bottom, wait. You don't yet know that in this country, you can legally own people. About this in a minute. And now let's move from hell to heaven, California. Here, on a narrow strip of land, the fate of humanity is decided. Apple, Google, Facebook, Nvidia. The GDP of the single state of California is larger than the economy of the entire UK or India. These companies know more about you than your mother. They control what you read, what you buy, and who you vote for. Here, they create artificial intelligence that can either save us or destroy us. The USA is the only place where a student in a garage can create a company that will buy a whole country tomorrow. This spirit of innovation is the main engine of the planet. These technologies make life convenient, but there is one sphere of life in the USA where technologies are powerless, and the price of a mistake is your bankruptcy. Ready to learn the price of life? In any movie, when a hero is unwell, someone shouts, "Call 911!" In real life, an American will shout, "Just not an ambulance, call an Uber." Why? Because an ambulance ride can cost $3,000. The USA is the only developed country without free healthcare. The most frequent cause of personal bankruptcy in America is not mortgages and not casinos, but medical bills. A simple appendix removal can cost you $40,000. Having a baby? $30,000. If you don't have good insurance, and millions don't, one illness turns you into a homeless person. The series Breaking Bad, where a teacher cooks meth to pay for cancer treatment, is not a drama. For Americans, it is a documentary. But losing a home is not the scariest thing. In the USA, there are places where you lose your freedom, and billions are earned from this. Welcome to the business of people. The USA loves to call itself the land of the free, but statistics say otherwise. 25% of all the world's prisoners sit here, even though the US population is only 5% of the world's. Why so many? Because prisons here are a business. Private prisons receive money from the state for each prisoner. It is profitable for them to have people sitting. Moreover, prisoners work for pennies, literally 10 to 20 cents an hour. They sew uniforms, make furniture, even put out forest fires. The 13th Amendment to the Constitution prohibits slavery, except as punishment for a crime. That is, legally, a prisoner is a slave of the state. The system is cruel to people, but nature here is even more ruthless and beautiful. Let's exhale and look at what the whole world envies. Forget about politics and look at the land. America possesses perhaps the most beautiful nature on the planet. The National Park System is America's best idea. The Grand Canyon, whose scale breaks the brain. Yellowstone, with its acidic lakes and dormant supervolcano that could destroy the world. Giant sequoias that remember the Roman Empire. Unlike cities, perfect order reigns here. Americans fanatically protect their nature. Here, you can drive for hours and not see a single house. Only mountains, deserts, and freedom. This is that very America from westerns, wild and untamed. But this wild nature also spawned wild laws. In the next chapter, we will talk about an item that is more abundant in the USA than in any army in the world. Walk into an American Walmart supermarket. On the left, milk and bread. On the right, rifles and ammo. The USA is the only country in the world where there are more civilian weapons than citizens. For 100 people, there are 120 guns. For some, this is a guarantee of freedom, the Second Amendment. For others, a daily nightmare. In American schools, children undergo drills not only for fire safety, but also active shooter drill. What to do if a shooter enters the school. Mass shootings have become so common that they are forgotten in a week. This is the price society pays for the right to be armed to the teeth. Weapons are hard power, but America has a stronger weapon. A weapon that made you wear jeans and dream of New York even if you have never been there. You may hate US politics, but you have most likely watched Marvel movies. Hollywood is the main propaganda machine in history. They sold the American dream to the whole world. Through movies and music, they dictate what is fashionable, what is cool, and what a hero is. A teenager in Tokyo, a banker in London, and a worker in Brazil. Everyone wears Nike, drinks Coca-Cola, and quotes The Godfather. This is cultural colonization that happened without a single shot. America lives in your head, whether you want it or not. But Hollywood is fairy tales, and there are people who make fairy tales come true, and they are planning to leave this planet. And the final chord. Despite zombies, guns, and debts, the USA remains the only country seriously aiming for the stars, NASA and SpaceX. It is here that rovers are landed as casually as parking a car. It is here that Elon Musk's private company has overtaken entire states in launches. America is a frontier country. They always need to go further. First the Wild West, now Mars. It is here that technologies are created that will perhaps save humanity when the Earth becomes cramped. While others divide borders on a map, these guys are charting routes to other planets. The USA is not a country, but an experiment. An experiment on what happens if you give a person absolute freedom. The freedom to become a billionaire and the freedom to die under a fence from drugs. Here are the smartest scientists and the most fanatical cultists. Here's the most expensive housing and the largest tent camps for the homeless. This is an empire built on a great dream and great blood. We saw 8 faces of America, from the rotting streets of Philadelphia to the red sands of Mars. And now the main question. America is customarily either blindly adored or furiously hated. But looking at these facts, say honestly, is this still the land of opportunity worth striving for? Or is it a golden cage that is about to fall apart from the inside? Whose side are you on? Write in the comments. The battle of opinions there will be hot. And subscribe. We show the world without censorship.